In this video, we are going to discuss multi-criteria decision making using the analytical hierarchy process. The best way to explain this is through an example. A hotel chain is considering hiring a business development manager, and it has identified 6 criteria and 4 potential candidates. Let us now look at the AHP software and how we address this particular problem. I have set up the problem already, hit continue, and I've added the criteria and the candidates. And when I hit continue, I'm offered the judgment options, criteria judgment and candidate judgment. I hit criteria judgment, and now I have a slider screen. This is a very simple process. You only have to remember 2 questions. Which one? How much? Which one? How much? The software presents to you 2 criteria in blue and in red and asks you which one is of greater significance, importance, or likelihood for you. Let's say availability is more important. In that case, we move upwards towards the blue. How much more important compared to leadership? Say strong, and we hit next. Salary and availability, we might say salary is more important, so we move down. Self-motivation, availability more important to some degree, etc. Then the next pair, and we go on. Once we complete the evaluation, we move to the candidate judgment screen. And here we are offered the same process. We take one criterion, which is availability in this case, and compare Jane versus Kathy. The same question, which one is more important or dominant compared to the other for this criterion? So let's say Jane is more important. And once we finish the first criterion, it moves to the second criterion. And when we finish, we are provided the final result. Here we have the criteria weights, and we do have the candidate weight. Once we complete the process, we will see a graph like this, which indicates that Mary is the preferred choice. So I go to see my boss and I present this data, and he says, if we're willing to pay whatever it takes, is Mary still your choice? Of course, I scratch my head, not knowing how to respond. Well, with our software, all we have to do is press one button, and we see an interesting graph. And I want you to pay attention to this particular chart. Right here on the left-hand side, we have a band here. That is the optimum band considering all 6 criteria. If you see, Mary with 32.3 is the recommended candidate. To the right of this, we have 6 bands. These represent the N-1 evaluations. In other words, in each case, we have removed 1 criterion and run the simulation for 5 criteria only. For example, here we see availability has been removed. Here, leadership has been removed. And here, salary has been removed. So, if my boss says he's not concerned about salary, we obviously don't want salary in our evaluation. So we look at this particular graph and we see that if salary is not an issue, Sue is a significantly better candidate. There would have been no other way for us to conduct an evaluation instead of going through it laboriously. With this software, it's just a one-button press. And this is true of any criterion that you want to exclude after the evaluation, because we start with criteria with the best of interest. But once we see the evaluation, we can see if we are willing to relax and let go of some of our needs and wants. Here's another quick example. A US engineering contractor is considering opening a branch office in Asia. They considered 6 criteria and 5 candidates. As before, we have our criteria and we have our candidates. We run the software. Sydney is the preferred choice. But when we look at the N-1 analysis, we see something very interesting. Here again, we have the original evaluation, and these are the sensitivities. Look right here. If bureaucracy is not an issue, New Delhi is in fact the better choice. So this company went on to form a joint venture with Tata Consulting because Tata knows how to navigate the bureaucratic system. They're like the Indian government. Most of us believe that our common sense, our logic, our gut feeling and intuition is more than adequate to solve any problem. Sadly, this is an illusion.